There are a lot of streamers that go viral, but usually there's a limit to their reach, a point where their audience stops expanding. And then there is iShowSpeed. It started off with a kid streaming Fortnite on his PS4 to 0 viewers, then one moment cracked the whole thing open and Speed stepped into a world way bigger than gaming. So when Fortnite gave him an icon skin, it made perfect sense. Fortnite recognizing a creator who became a global icon. This is the story of iShowSpeed. In 2018, Speed was just Darren, a kid going live on his PS4 playing Fortnite to an audience that barely existed. No camera crew, no production, no audience waiting on notifications. Just a kid talking into the void. He streamed Fortnite and NBA 2K almost daily. He'd play, lose games, queue again, just like thousands of other kids trying to figure out if this whole streaming thing could turn into something real. He streamed day after day, even when the numbers didn't move, even when no one clipped his moments, streaming to 0, 5, maybe just a handful of viewers. It didn't all click at first, and in 2019, Speed actually took a break from streaming, not because he didn't love streaming, but because life was louder than his dream. School was getting heavier, sports were demanding more time, and streaming didn't look like a real path yet. So Speed stepped away, took a break to focus on school and sports, especially football. Speed has said himself that if content didn't work out, he would have chased football seriously. That was the path that made sense and the path that people around him understood. And honestly, for most kids, that's where the story would end. But in 2020, during lockdown, one of Speed's IRL friends pulled him aside and gave him some simple advice. Just try again. That friend didn't leave after that advice. He stayed and he helped organize his streams, helped him think through content, and eventually he became Speed's manager. He believed that they were building something before anyone else could see it. iShowSpeed went live every single day during lockdown. He was streaming Fortnite customs, NBA 2K, talking to the same names in chat, learning what made people laugh and engaged, and learning how to hold attention when there was really nothing happening on screen. At around 5,900 subscribers, Speed said he already felt it even though the numbers weren't showing yet.
5.9 thousand subs right now. I wonder how much subs I have later. I'm gonna post this video 3 years later.
He couldn't have predicted the level of fame or momentum, but he knew something was forming. Without realizing it, Speed was building the exact kind of personality that the next era of the internet was waiting for. He was reacting live and unfiltered, learning in front of whoever happened to be watching that day. Later, Speed mentioned he wasn't thinking about fame during this stretch. He was just locked in on the craft and locked in on streaming.
I kind of give him everything that I had to my old life and just put everything onto my stream. I streamed every day. I didn't care about nothing else but YouTube streaming.
Then came 2021, the year everything changed. Streaming started taking over Speed's life, and not everyone around him really understood it.
Stop!
I mean it. No, you stop. Cut it out.
His mom isn't from this generation. Streaming was never a career path when she was growing up. And even then, there have been some successful streamers, but it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. All she wanted was what was best for him, and from her perspective, school and sports made the most sense.
She told me to quit.
Yeah.
Or I'm leaving. Like, you know, or like, you can't do this in my house. So I'm like, I'm out.
Disagreements and pressure grew, and eventually Speed went to live with his dad, someone he's openly credited as a huge inspiration. At the same time, the internet itself was changing too. TikTok and YouTube Shorts were taking over, and iShowSpeed's personality was exactly perfect for those shorter clips to really go viral. One of the most notable clips was when he 1v1'd a viewer in Fortnite, and the kid begged Speed to let him win because
My mom is kind of homeless.
his reaction showing him trying not to laugh turned into a meme that still gets used to this day. But in late 2021, after repeated incidents, Speed experienced being permanently banned on Twitch. This could have ended everything right there, but instead it forced a decision. YouTube became the main focus. With the swap to YouTube and the viral clips from Shorts and TikToks, he was averaging 10 to 20,000 live viewers every stream. Clips were everywhere, and pages were reposting his reactions and behavior non-stop. During this time, time is also when Speed and Kai Cenat established a close friendship. This connection would later define an entire era of live streaming. And then came April 2022, the moment that everything switched, when a kid named Bradley donated and asked him a simple question: what soccer team do you support? Speed answered without thinking:
Cristiano Ronaldo, Suey. Simple as that, bro.
And it sounded like just another joke at the time, but that moment actually escaped the American bubble. At first, he didn't really understand what had happened. The clip was everywhere, different languages, different countries, people he never experienced watching him. And outside of the United States, football isn't just a sport, it's an entire culture. Speed admitted that this was the first time his streams felt different, bigger than the internet circles he knew. That's when he realized that this is actually big. And with that realization came pressure, because the audience wasn't just reacting anymore, they were expecting something. He embraced the soccer culture and FIFA started taking over his streams, pack openings and screaming reactions. But the soccer community actually accepted Speed very quickly. He wasn't just a streamer pretending to care, Speed actually was genuinely obsessed. He went on to drop a World Cup music video and got a Cristiano Ronaldo tattoo, and even played in the Sidemen charity football match.
And we are underway.
And eventually he actually went on to meet Bradley, the kid whose donation opened the door to all of this. And this is when Speed decided he would do everything and anything for the content, completing every viral challenge that was around: the one chip challenge, the Kylie Jenner lip challenge, the vacuum trash bag, sleep streams with insane out-of-pocket donations, and one of the most dangerous moments he's done so far: light up fireworks in his own bedroom. It wasn't always safe or smart, but he made it impossible to ignore him. And Speed never pretended like this was the perfect route. A lot of things were happening at once. The growth was explosive, the expectations were nonstop, and everything was happening live. He's mentioned that when you're young and millions of people are watching, there's no pause button. Mistakes will happen, and mistakes don't happen quietly. Now they're happening in front of the entire world. And at the end of the day, he's still a human being. By 2023, Speed was creating his own moments. His personality was still loud, chaotic, and didn't change from the Speed that the internet fell in love with. But instead of shock value, Speed started going for viral scale. He ended up meeting Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal, Neymar in Japan, and Holland in Norway. Meeting the people he once screamed about on stream changed the tone. The dream had become tangible. He wasn't just reacting anymore, but actually standing next to them. At the same time, he stayed true to what built his audience, raging on Fortnite, spending 18 million Robux on one shirt, entered his Fortnite 1v1 era where he 1v1'd Nick A30, Typical Gamer, Mr. Savage, Asian Jeff, Clicks, and even myself. His content was starting to mature. Speed said that during this time is when he started to understand who he was becoming. The content wasn't slowing down, it was only improving. And in 2024, he reminded people of something they had forgotten. Before streaming, he was an athlete. He went viral again for his physical ability, showing the world that he could jump over 2 supercars. He 1v1 Kevin Durant, drove an F1 car, and even raced Noah Lyles. Speed then announced he'll be running the 100-meter dash at the 2028 Olympics in LA. And he seems to be taking it seriously by training with actual pro athletes. He was also still going viral for his over-the-top reactions, like when Messi got added into Fortnite. It hadn't even been 5 seconds before Clicks gifted him the full bundle, and let's just say Speed did not appreciate it. And then he did something that no other streamer had done before: a full European tour, 18 countries in 30 days. Everywhere he went, crowds exploded, streets filled, police intervened, entire areas got shut down just because of him. In Norway, a crowd trapped Speed and his team inside a souvenir shop for 10 minutes. This was the new reality. What most people don't see is the weight of it all. He explained that these tours aren't spontaneous chaos. They're all very calculated. Security routes, exit plans, decoy vehicles, entire teams working to make sure everyone is safe. People only see the 15-second clip and they don't see what goes into it. And that responsibility sits heavy, because when crowds reach that size, it's no longer about entertainment. It's about safety for him and for the people showing up. That same year, Speed and Kai Cenat ran their entire Fortnite marathon, a full production built around trying to get a win together. And we all remember the moment where Speed did a backflip directly onto his setup.
Darren!
And by the end of the year, Speed actually won Streamer of the Year, which is huge recognition and very well deserved. In 2025, the pace did not slow down. This was the year he hit 40 million subscribers and was well on his way to 50 million. He was doing multiple Mr. Beast collaborations, the Sidemen charity match, and even became the mayor of Lima, Peru for an hour.
I am now the mayor of Peru.
This year was also the year he did his Speed Does America tour, 35 days of 24/7 IRL streaming throughout the entire country, driving around in an RV, turning highways, rest stops, and random towns into live content. From the early days of streaming Fortnite and late night rage sessions to marathon streams with friends, collabs pulling in millions, and tours that took him all around the world. And by this point, the impact was undeniable. Finally, at the end of 2025, he did it. Speed received his Fortnite icon skin, and for him it meant everything, because this journey started with a kid playing Fortnite on his PlayStation 4, streaming to almost no one, and now he's fully in the game, a global icon, blending his love for soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo, One Piece, and even his Black Flash Halloween costume into something that is his forever. When Speed talks about the future, he doesn't talk about slowing down. He talks about refinement and improving. Right now, he's showing the world the culture and life in Africa, a 28-day tour where he wants the viewers to be able to experience 20 different African countries. And in the few weeks he's been there, we've already seen him drifting cars, him exploring music and culture, and even racing a cheetah and coming close to winning. Well, not really. He's also wanting to be better, understanding the scale of what he's built. The kid who once streamed Fortnite to 5 viewers now shuts down entire cities across continents. And when you ask Speed what he wants to be remembered for, he doesn't hesitate. The greatest streamer to ever live. And with the way he's moving, he might just pull it off.